Jason, I'm finally coming home.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I'm so ready.
Yes, I'm very much looking forward to it. It's been a little while. So things will go back to normal, or more normal, I guess. I'll have my normal recording setup and my normal gaming computer and all of my normal stuff, and I'm really looking forward to it.
So you leave in a couple days, right? Like how like me, right? I've been on a long kind of business trip before, and I did not want to take my computer down until like the last minute.
Yeah, that's definitely the challenge for me as well. I have a lot of computer stuff that needs to get put away, but also I'm like using my computer daily at this point, especially because I'm not really working between now and when I leave. So like it's my primary source of entertainment. So I'm like, oh, I totally want to leave all my stuff, up and ready. But then also I need to pack all that stuff. So it's going to be a little bit of a cat and mouse kind of game here.
Well, good news. After we're done right now, you can put your podcast mic away.
This is a major checkbox on that thing because I think when I came here, I put the podcast mic in a shoe. So now I can put the podcast mic back in the shoe to put it in the suitcase. So yes, very much looking forward to having one more thing that I can pack.
We may have talked about it in a previous episode, but did you bring the whole peripheral setup? Like, do you have a keyboard and a mouse and a headset and obviously a podcast mic and like you have like a whole, like, do you have one monitor? Do you have two monitors? Like, what do you got to pack?
I have a shocking amount of technology that I need to pack. Like, okay, so let me make a quick list just by looking at things that I can see from where I'm sitting. So I have extra monitor. So I have my laptop. I have an extra monitor that's like a 15-inch travel monitor. I have a couple of USB hubs. I have an external keyboard, a wrist rest for said keyboard, a trackpad, two mice that I can see, and I know that I have one more in my backpack. A bunch of cables, about 4 different like multi-charging bricks, like USB-C charging bricks. And that might be it. Oh, and an alarm clock that I bought while I was here.
So like, can 2 of the 3 mice be put away?
I mean, I suppose at this point, yes. I did when I came here. It's me. I have to have lots of mice. That's just a thing.
I know. It's your thing. I get it.
But I came here actually with only 2 mice. I came with a Bluetooth like travel mouse for my like work computer and stuff, and an MMO mouse in case I wanted to do any MMO stuff, which turned out to be really a good idea because of WoW. And while I was here, I ended up going to a computer like market or store, and I found a Razer Basilisk like just FPS mouse basically, because I was like, oh, I don't know, maybe I'll need that. It's kind of nice to not have to always use the wide, MMO mouse with all the buttons on the thumb. So I picked that up for $20 or something. It was pretty cheap. One of the cool things though is it works on a dongle or Bluetooth, so that was also like a selling point for it. But now I have this extra mouse and I get to bring it home.
Have you purchased any other technology while there that you now have to bring home?
Yeah, I mean, yes. So I bought a multi-port, one of these multi-port USB brick things because I needed one by my bed and one by my desk. And I also bought the Anker charging cube that I think we might have talked about.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So that's another thing. So a lot of charging peripherals, believe it or not. And then I also bought a couple things. I bought like a little SSD that I could use to dual boot my laptop, and a couple other like little tech things that aren't too big.
No graphics cards though. You didn't buy any graphics cards while you were away?
I really seriously looked into it. Like I went to a store with the intention of attempting to buy a 4090 graphics card if they had one. And believe it or not, they did have one, but it was way expensive. Like it was marked up to like $2,000 US, and I was like, that's maybe a little too rich for my blood. So I'm still waiting for something around MSRP.
Okay, well, you can put the podcast mic away. You can put the podcast mic stand away. You can probably put 2 of the 3 mice away.
Yeah.
I think the next one is like the keyboard, maybe, right? Like the keyboard and the extra monitor. I don't know. Like it's really hard to like use your like it gets really uncomfortable to like get down to just a laptop.
Right, exactly. So I think that the keyboard may survive till later on. But the external screen, I think I brought that here, like packed in checked luggage. So as I pack that checked luggage, I think that the screen will end up kind of back in there.
Yeah, and having one screen is pretty uncomfortable, but it's doable.
It's manageable. Actually, what I can do is I can use my iPad as a second screen.
Oh, yeah.
So that might be a temporary solution.
Do you play World of Warcraft on your MacBook?
Yes, I am playing World of Warcraft on the Mac.
Oh, yeah, you could totally use your you could put Discord on your iPad over there.
Yep. I mean, I could also just put the Discord app of the iPad on the iPad.
Also true. Is the second monitor doing anything else other than Discord?
Yeah, it's got Wowhead usually.
Oh, okay, fine, fair.
But yeah, it's pretty much communication, and then WoW is on the main screen.
Well, anyway, I'm looking forward to you coming home. I'm looking forward to getting back to a slightly better schedule for podcast recording. I'm looking forward to playing WoW more regularly. It's been a challenge, and maybe we'll talk about this in a little bit. This is the teaser for the main show, right? Getting back to playing WoW together more than just like odd hours on a Friday. This is I'm really looking forward to all of that. So can't wait to welcome you home.
Yes, thank you. Welcome back to Pride and Accomplishment. I'm Chris.
And I'm Jason. This is episode 91.
So Jason, are we just a WoW podcast now? Is that what we are?
No. Maybe.
Okay.
No.
Well, I guess that remains to be seen for the rest of this episode. But before we get there, I think we have some follow-up.
Yeah, I know. Crazy, right? So last episode or 2 episodes ago or some number of episodes ago, we talked about your graphics card journey.
Yes.
Starting, essentially. And that prompted me to go look at like potentially building a new computer or, getting a graphics card or just kind of peeking into the market a little bit. And I didn't do a whole lot, but I was kind of looking at some pre-builds or some components or some recommended builds. And oh my gosh, stuff is expensive now. Like I built the PC that's sitting in front of me right now. I'm pretty sure I spent like $2,400 on, and it was good PC when I built it. I think I got the set, just under the top graphics card. I think you and I chose like the top CPU that was available at the time. I got a crazy expensive motherboard. Like I spent a lot of money on it, right? Like we went almost as hard as we could, except for the graphics card. And I kind of looked out there and I kind of peeked my head out into the PC building world, and it's just so expensive now. I was, for stuff that I kind of wanted, like to truly get an upgrade over what I have right now, I was looking at like $3,000 or higher, maybe $4,000.
Wow. I think that the cost of the individual things has gone up, but also the incremental performance is not as big of a leap as it used to be. So maybe you don't need to upgrade as often.
Oh, I don't. I really don't. I don't. I was just kind of looking. I mean, I really don't need to do anything. Some of the a lot of the game reviews and all of that, they're like, oh, these games look so good. Like seeing some of the, what is it, like a Microsoft Flight Simulator or like the new, they've got the new, NVIDIA's releasing this new RTX tool that they use to upgrade Portal and Minecraft, and they're making these games look amazing with this ray tracing stuff. And so it's like, it's that like thing where you want to be involved in that and you want to like do, but I don't really need it.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's definitely a conversation about needs versus wants to be had about all games, but yeah, I know what you mean.
I guess what I'm trying to say is if I could, I think we built, I don't remember how long ago we built our PCs.
It was right after we started P&A.
Was it? Okay. So 3-4 years ago, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
And I think if I could spend another $2,500 to get a brand new PC with like significant or even like moderate upgrades and keep the one I have, right? I would probably think about doing it next year. But like based on what I saw, I don't think I could make any sizable upgrade with $2,500 over what I have right now.
Wow.
I don't know. I think I'm running. Are we running DDR3 RAM?
DDR4. DDR4.
Okay, we have DDR4, so it's not that bad. We've got a great CPU, but they've got these freaking amazing ones now. That again, I don't think I need. I don't think there's any reason for me to want that, but they're amazing. They're so good. And I mean, I'm running a 2070 Super. I know you really need a graphics card at this point. I'm running a 2070 Super, which honestly, for everything I play, is fine. It's good enough. But you know, I'm getting that itch. And the price scared that itch right out of me.
Well, that's good. I guess there's a healthy reflex there.
I'm sorry for anyone that is looking to build or buy a PC right now, because it's just not the right time.
I'm actually really worried that I'm going to get caught, that I'm going to overbuy a graphics card that's not going to be served by the CPU that I have, and that I'm going to find myself in the situation where I'm going to be trying to buy these things.
I don't know. I think our CPU is still fine for gaming. It's a little overkill. It's probably a little overkill for gaming because it doesn't take advantage of all those threads. But I don't know about you, but I use my computer for a lot of other things, you know, kind of work related, Excel, data related, and it serves me very well in those capacities.
Are you really maxing out all your 12 cores using Excel?
I do sometimes, actually.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay.
Well, you know, you write a bunch of formulas and you drag them down, and it's got to calculate the values for, like, I don't know, 500,000 cells all at once. Yeah, no, it definitely it spikes those things up pretty quick.
Well, there you go. Multi-purpose. No, my thing is more that, the individual, like, single core clock speed. Everybody says, like, oh, if you have a 4090, you have to get the Intel 13,000 series or whatever, which it's crazy to me that they're up to 13,000 series Intel processors. I had a 2600K for the longest time. But I'm not going to do that. Like, I'm not looking to upgrade my CPU or anything like that. So, I don't know. We'll see. I'm really just trying to go. My graphics card and my PCs are kind of on off cycle, right? So, like, mid cycle of the PC, I usually upgrade the graphics card. And so now I'm thinking, you know, buy the graphics card up a little bit and then have the CPU catch up in a couple years or whatever when I do maybe attempt to rebuild the rest of the PC around the GPU.
Have you heard of these new like X3D AMD CPUs?
Yeah, that's what people are saying that you need in order to feed your very fast, very new GPU.
Yeah, I've heard just incredible things about them, and I don't know what the upgrade path looks like for me. I don't know if they fit the same socket or not. But I had just kind of, you know, people are kind of wrapping up their 2022 stuff, and a lot of like the reviews and you know, a lot of YouTubers are doing like, this is my setup 2022, kind of as like a memorialization of like where we were in 2022. And a lot of them are talking about these AMD X3D CPUs, and I honestly I missed this news entirely. But apparently this is a thing that I should really do and take advantage of. So yeah, it's been one of those, it's been an itch. I've been eyeballing it, but well, I don't think anything will actually happen.
All right, well, keep us posted.
So Chris, this is not a World of Warcraft podcast.
That's what we say.
But have you played anything else in the last 2 weeks?
You know, I have actually, but not very much.
Maybe we should start there.
Okay.
Have you played anything for more than like 15 minutes in the last 2 weeks?
Yes, but it's a really oddball one, actually. So the one thing I was going to say that's a little bit more modern that we have talked about before is Played Up. I did do a run of Played Up that I did not do very well with on the Steam Deck because they had a holiday event, like a winter event thing. But I didn't get very far with that. The thing that I've actually been playing lately has been Myst 3 Exile. So this is the third game in the Myst series. On the Steam Thanksgiving sale, I picked up the Myst Complete Collection, which came with all of the Myst games kind of optimized for Steam. I actually have them all physically on CDs, but I don't really have any way to put CDs on my Steam Deck these days. So I rebought these things on Steam for, I don't know, 10 or 20 bucks. And I've been working my way through the puzzle game Myst 3 on the Steam Deck, and it's been really fun.
I think that's a good use for the Steam Deck. That's interesting. Do you play that like in bed before you go to bed?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Like, is that kind of your style?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a really simple point and click. So like you have just like basically the left mouse button and very occasionally the right mouse button. So I've mapped like almost every input on the Steam Deck to be mouse click.
So you can hit any button and it just clicks.
And just basically just kind of, touch any part of the Steam Deck and it just clicks the mouse.
Do you play that game with touchscreen or do you use the trackpads?
I use the trackpads and the joystick. So that's the thing, is I basically have everything mapped to either moving the mouse or clicking the mouse is how I've got the input set up. So both trackpads control the mouse. Clicking either one will left click, even if it's the right side one. And also I think I have like both triggers set to do left click as well. So like I can use either hand. Like
whatever is most comfortable.
Exactly. Because like, the Steam Deck, it's good, but like you can sometimes want to change your grip or change like how you're holding it or whatever. And so, yeah, I have both sticks, both trackpads are just moving the mouse. It's a very different kind of game setup than what you would think of typically.
Good. That's cool. I like that. I like that you're still using your Steam Deck because mine's somewhere.
Oh.
I like it more than my Switch.
Okay, but that was a really low bar.
Yeah, I know. I made the conscious decision to sell my Switch. I haven't done it yet, but once I find it, it's going to get sold.
Once
it's around here somewhere. I'm doing some winter cleaning.
Oh my goodness.
Well, good. Okay, cool. Fine. Yeah. So you've done more than WoW. I asked the question because I haven't. Yes, I have. I have logged into Guild Wars for my dailies.
Oh, there you go. Yep.
Yeah, there you go.
Wow. So
other than that, I have played exclusively WoW for the last 2 weeks.
Amazing. That's interesting to hear.
I know. Crazy. What world are we in?
I don't know.
I did want to follow up on a couple more things we talked about last week. Just kind of like what's the resurgence of WoW? Like what the heck's going on? And I've heard one more comment that I kind of like definitely latched onto from someone. And it rang very true as you and I were leveling some other characters through some other zones and some of the other cutscenes and whatnot. Someone mentioned, and I don't know if this is true or if they put more effort into this or if it was just a fact of game development nowadays, but someone in one of the communities I'm in mentioned that the animation, the rigging in the in-engine cinematics, right? Like that, Blizzard is amazing at like those, pre-rendered cinematic kind of things. But the ones that like show you the cartoony style of World of Warcraft that aren't like pre-rendered glorious things have gotten so much better in their animation, particularly in this expansion. Someone described it as like the rigging of the models is just so much more fluid and so much better. And it's just something small, right? It's not huge. It's not a big deal. But like comparing it to some of the older like, cutscenes and some of the older models that you're seeing in previous expansions when you go back and do them for leveling, or it really is a huge difference. And I would say it's one of those things when I talk about the style of WoW that I really didn't like. Right. It's so cartoony. It's so, I really don't like it. If I had a choice, I would choose Final Fantasies or Guild Wars 2's style any day. But it goes a long way in like closing that gap when the models look less janky, right? When they look less cartoony in how they move and how they interact and how they kind of animate. It's done a lot for me to kind of stay in that style a little bit more.
Is that something that is changed in Dragonflight specifically? Because I thought they've been kind of doing that since Battle for Azeroth, and like it improved in Shadowlands. Maybe now it's just the culmination of all of that work, but I thought it's been kind of a journey, like a long path for improvement for them.
I would say that's probably fair. It's probably gotten better over time. I haven't been around to see the progression, but from what I remember in WoW and how I remember the style of WoW and how I viewed some of this in the previous expansions that we have leveled through, compared to what I see now in Dragonflight, it is a huge difference. And I guess that's really all I'm calling out. I can't make any judgment on what Shadowlands. I mean, I guess I can. I don't really remember Shadowlands too much, but I definitely can't make any judgment on BFA, because the only thing I remember from BFA is the pre-rendered cutscene that started the expansion, because it was amazing. It was excellent.
Yes, it was very good.
It was amazing. It was so good. If you haven't seen it, go back and watch just that cutscene. I can't really comment on the progression, but just looking at it right now compared to what I remember WoW's, style and graphics and art to compare to now, I'm much happier with where it is.
Well, that's good to hear. Yeah, I agree that it's definitely gotten better. I'm still kind of holding out for like some kind of major graphical overhaul that they'll never do, but maybe someday.
I'm surprised that there hasn't been anyone that has attempted like a total retexture pack.
Well, I don't think you can do that kind of thing with it because of like anti-cheat measures. Like I think that the client would freak out if it didn't have all of its own assets, because you could like cheat, I guess, in like PvP or something if you had different textures.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
But I think there was actually, and I'd have to look it up, but I think somebody did try to make like Stormwind City in like Unreal Engine 4, and it looked like really, really good. It
looks amazing.
Ray tracing and all that.
It was like, why? This is so cool. I would love that. I would absolutely love that. I think it would bring me back to WoW almost completely and keep me there. Because as much as I like the gameplay now, I really don't like the style or the art. It's just not my thing. I've been seeing some cool armor and transmog stuff, and it's okay, fine. Yeah, it's a little better. It's kind of cool. There's a little bit of glowy. I'm starting to like it a little bit, but I would like it just so much more if it was a more realistic art style. Like I hate using the word realistic, but like sharp, Guild Wars 2 style, right? Like I don't know, how do you describe that? Realistic, maybe? I don't know.
It's kind of more realistic. It's I don't think cartooniness itself is bad. I think it's really more low poly. Like that's kind of where World of Warcraft is, in my opinion.
Yeah, okay.
But it definitely feels like if they want to kind of capture more people's interest, they might want to consider some kind of upgrade. Although we did see that with like New World, and it didn't matter, right? The gameplay wasn't fun, so even though the game was pretty, it didn't really hold anybody's interest.
No, but I mean that's already there for World of Warcraft.
Right, that's true. Yes. I did find a video of that Stormwind thing, and I did put it in the show notes, so you can go ahead and check that out. It looks really, really good compared to the existing World of Warcraft graphical engine.
Last time Chris and I had not really done too much group content, we hadn't really kind of started progressing any of our characters. In the last 2 weeks, I have done some mythic stuff with Chris. And Chris, I'm actually really interested in hearing about your LFR experience.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did do. I've done LFR twice now.
So you're going in as a DPS, which is, arguably a little easier, but fine. No big deal. Whatever. I'm a tank. I gotta.
Okay. All right. So we're doing this now. Cool.
It's you don't have to do it. I feel like okay. I feel like I couldn't go into LFR not knowing what the heck I'm doing. But like you could go into LFR and kind of learn it on the fly. Is that fair? Is that fair to say?
I think that's true. I mean, I think, I have played tanks before, right? I did play a druid tank all through BFA. But like I understand the necessities of learning for tanks, but yes, you probably wouldn't want to go in blind, although I actually think that with LFR, you might, if you have DBM and you actually read what's on the screen, like when it says to do stuff, you could probably figure your way through it without too much trouble, I think. But you have to actually commit to like reading all the little prompts that DBM puts up on the screen, and I'm not sure if that's a Jason thing or not.
I mean, I'd rather have a little bit of, homework ahead of time and be less stressed in the moment.
That's fair. I just know that every time I say, "Oh yeah, do you see that DBM is telling us to do this thing?" You're like, "No, I don't know what that is." I hear doing the thing, but I don't see
that.
it.
Okay, all right. So yesterday, when I was up way too late playing World of Warcraft, I did move some DBM prompts around, so they're a little bit more in my face now.
Okay, good.
And not, half hidden by the minimap.
Very good.
Anyway, so you go into LFR, your DPS, I assume your eye level's reasonable, and how, I mean, just it went smooth, or did you die a lot? Did you, what's the group dynamic like? I'm just really interested in this because I've never played a game where 10-man content or 10-man or larger content is available via a match-made kind of finder.
Yeah, so the way that it works is you just join a queue, like you just sign up and say like I'm DPS or I'm healing or I'm tanking, and you join a queue just like you would for Dungeon Finder for like leveling dungeons. And it actually puts you in a group of 25. So it's actually a really big LFR group. So it's 2, 5, 18 maybe. That sounds right in terms of 2 tanks, 5 healers, 18 DPS or something like that. So it's just a mob of people. And so then it does the Dungeon Finder thing, gives you a estimated time, and then it pops up with a little prompt, and it's like you want to join, and you join, and then it loads you into the raid, and then everybody's in a party, like it's just like a dungeon, and you're in a big party, and it automatically assigns people to groups, so it puts you into the little 5-man squads that they kind of do in the raid interface. And then, you just get to start. There's not usually like a really particular leader. Like it's not like nobody's kind of quarterbacking this whole thing. Everybody just kind of either knows what to do, or the few people that know what to do, all the rest of the people follow them or whatever to do like the trash, like to do the first part. So in the current raid, which is Vault of the Incarnates, I think, it actually starts with a like dragon ride. So you actually start with like a thing where you fly up on a dragon, and then you can kind of rain chaos down upon the ads and the trash mobs that you have to then later go through and run through and kill. So it's to your benefit if you knock down more of those during kind of the dragon flying phase. It makes it easier to get to the first boss. So that's a kind of a cool mechanic, because like if you knock all of the ads down to like 10%, then after you're done with the flying the dragon thing, when you come back to being on the ground, you actually go up to these enemies and they have like 10% left, and so it's really fast to kill them. And everything in LFR is pretty weak, so like you don't spend a lot of time clearing trash, which is good. Like, I mean, it's nice to kind of keep it moving. And then you get to the first boss, and then maybe there's a pull timer, maybe not. Usually there is, but then you just start fighting the boss, and that's it.
Did you guys wipe? Like, what was the kind of like the difficulty there? Did you guys first pull everything? Did anyone talk about any strategy or try to help the group once, like if you did wipe, like did someone like point out like, hey, like make sure you do this during this phase, or like what was that like?
Right. So there was no explanation on the first boss. So the way that these things go is the raid finder will split up a raid. So like typically a WoW raid has somewhere between, 7 and 11 or 12 bosses. And the way that raid finder works is they split up those bosses into sets of about 3 usually. Sometimes it's like a bunch of 3s and a 4, and they call those wings. So they just call those wings of the raid finder, and then they open them in like stages. So like right now, only the first wing, as we're recording, only the first wing is available. I think by the time we publish, the second wing will be available with the next set of like 3 bosses. But if you go in like a non-raid finder group, you can do all the bosses right away. So for us, we beat the first boss easily. It wasn't that difficult. And then the second one, we actually did wipe, I think once, maybe twice. And that was something where we weren't doing a mechanic. We weren't making sure that we were getting to move. I think if you had lightning on your head, you had to move to the earth pillars, and then if you had frost on your head, you had to move to the ground fire stuff to clear the ground fire. It was a cool mechanic. Like, it was a nice like thing, and I can't imagine how it gets more difficult on Mythic, because that's always the thing, is that LFR is easier, and then normal is kind of like, normal, and then there's heroic, and then there's Mythic, and Mythic always adds an extra twist to everything, and I have no idea if they make it more difficult than it was, like more chaotic, then it's going to be kind of a nightmare. But that's the fun of Mythic. That's why people do it. So we wiped our first time, and then somebody typed in the chat and explained it. Just any person, just some random guy. Like, there was no like leader. It wasn't like nobody was in voice. It was all just on text. So yeah, it was a pretty informal group.
That sounds cool. I don't know. Obviously, I think you and I both agree that like a normal pre-made group would be a lot more fun in voice, kind of something like that. But LFR seems like a good stopgap.
LFR is good, especially early on, because it does actually drop gear that is better than like a Mythic 2. But by the time you're doing Mythic 10s, the gear that you get from LFR is really not worth it. So the only reason to go is to like see the content, I guess, and like not have any pressure of it. But like it doesn't reward you with much, because the item level is lower if you're doing high level Mythics. And if that's not what you want to do, if that's not kind of what you're playing for, then it's that situation is moot. But like, it's kind of fun to do, especially right now, because it can actually give you meaningful upgrades.
I'm really interested in trying. I think this week I'm going to try maybe learning a little bit of Wing 1, or just learning Wing 1, right? Just like basic mechanic stuff for a tank, and maybe trying to LFR a little bit.
Yeah, you should absolutely do it. And I would recommend doing it before the reset on Tuesday. Just if you can get 2 bosses down, then you get another choice of gear in your weekly vault. So that would be something just to do, just to have that option. And then, maybe you want your Mythic piece better, maybe you want your raid piece better, but like you have more choices.
Is it hard to queue as a tank? You said there's only 2 in the group of 25. To me, that would make it seem like it's actually hard to find a group as a tank.
I don't know what the breakdown is in terms of like tanks versus DPS versus healers, but it always feels like tanks have a fast queue. And I don't know if Raid Finder is different, but I know for dungeons, tanks are better, but the ratio is 3-1 on DPS to tanks there, not, 8-1.
Right. Yeah, it would feel like something like a raid group like that is always looking for healers, since they're looking for 5 healers, but only 2 tanks. That doesn't sound like that hard to find.
Well, yeah, I guess. I mean, the other thing is you have to have tanks that are willing to, do that kind of content, right? A lot of people will want to be doing higher level content, or will be signed up for normal raids, like, so maybe they're not doing LFR. So I think there actually is some degree of scarcity for tanks. Maybe.
Okay. All right.
I don't know. Try it and see.
I'm going to.
One thing that I also get from Raid Finders that I just always seem to do, and I don't know why, is you can get bind on equip drops, BOE drops, from Raid Finder, just like you can in raids. And those things can be pretty valuable, like on the auction house, because people want them. So you can have like item level, I don't know, 360, 380, no, 380 something. Pieces will drop. And I have, both of the times I've done Raid Finder, I've gotten a BOE drop. One was a thing I could use, and one was a thing that was mail and I couldn't use it. So you just put it on the auction house and see if you can get somebody to buy it for you. So I actually sold the one piece that I got this past week for, I think, 50,000 gold, which was pretty good.
Yeah, that's a decent chunk of change.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, it can be lucrative to even do LFR, even if you're not like looking for gear for yourself. You might be looking for stuff that you can sell.
Are you lucky in those drops?
Yeah, this is total random. Like it's absolute luck, and they don't come from the bosses; they come from the trash.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So I've had very good luck with getting drops from trash in raids. Considering how many times I've actually done raids, which is not very many, my percentage of times I get drops versus raids that I run is very high.
Okay. All right. You've convinced me. I'm going to try. I'm going to do it. I can't go in blind. I'm not going to go in blind, but I am going to, per your recommendation, try to do it before the reset this week.
I'll come with you. Like no big deal. I would say you just need to watch like one video of the fight. Like you don't have to worry too much about any of the like super specifics, but like if you watch the Fat Boss Guide, which is like the little like 2-minute summaries of the fights that they do, you'll be well prepared. So, this is 10 minutes of research. Like it's not a whole project.
Yeah, no, that's what I intend. But I just don't want to go in blind. Okay, so I haven't played anything else in the last 2 weeks. But I have purchased other things in the last couple of weeks.
Really?
I have. And you have here in the show notes, have you purchased anything on the Steam Winter Sale? And I think the answer is no for the Steam Winter Sale. But there was some other sale that happened slightly before it that caught my eye on some things that I purchased. And I think I made 2 purchases. I'm going to find it right now. I know I was supposed to. Oh, yeah. Okay. So in late November, like late November, like the last day of November, I purchased 2 games. And one you're going to make fun of me for because I'm never going to play it, but I bought it thinking I was going to play it someday. And the other one I actually really like. So the one that I'm never going to play that I bought that was super cheap was the Guild Wars 1 trilogy.
Oh, nice.
I mean, I want to play it. Like I want to experience. Everyone says it's so good. But it was $15 for a ton of content. It was the whole thing. Like it was the big, complete pack for $15. And I was like, maybe someday I'm going to want to play it. So I purchased it on Steam and I have it in my library now.
That's fine. I mean, I think that you will not make it that long because if you're talking about how WoW is a challenge, Guild Wars without jumping is also a challenge.
Yeah. Yeah.
This would be like playing WoW Classic, like on purpose. And I just don't think that you're going to find Guild Wars 1 to hold up as well as people say that it does if you haven't been playing it for the past 15 years.
I've seen some streamers attempt to pick it up lately, and they have had a good time. I think a lot of people have a lot of fun with it because of the build diversity, right? It does that thing where you can have 2 different classes and you can build them together, and that's not as interesting to me, just because I'm not a build diversity kind of like that build theory crafting is not something that I am particularly good at, nor do I really care for. Like I like to look at someone else's build and follow it and get really good at it, in practice, but I don't like to theory craft the original build. So I don't know. We'll see. I bought it. I'm probably never going to play it, but I'm happy that it is now in my library to someday, potentially, maybe, probably not, ever play.
I have Guild Wars 1. I don't have it through Steam, but I have, if I download the client, I can log in with an ancient account and actually, play. And I've done that a couple times to try just to see oh, do I have this thing that carries over to Guild Wars 2? Oh, how close am I on the Hall of Monuments that I could get some unlock of a title in Guild Wars 2? And the answer is very, very far away. But I did play a lot of Guild Wars 1 back in the day.
I was going to say, you played a non-insignificant amount, right?
Yeah, I mean, I purchased all 3 of those expansions, not for full price probably, but I did buy them all when they were, still coming in boxes on CDs. So I played a lot of Guild Wars 1. And I had several characters, and I was, not great. I mean, there was no really super high level content or whatever, but I was exploring the world and doing the things. And so, yeah, I did play my fair share of Guild Wars 1.
The other game I purchased, I actually have been looking to purchase for a very long time, was Dorfromantik? I don't know, something like that. We'll put it in the show notes because I can't pronounce it. But it's like a simple little puzzle game. It's gotten all kinds of praise for being super chill and really well made and, very polished. And it was on sale, and it never goes on sale, except when it does go on sale. But this was one of those, I'm going to wait for this to be on Humble Bundle. I'm going to wait for this to, whatever. And it just never did. And, I think I was going to wait for it to be on Game Pass. And maybe I'm super wrong about it. And maybe I pulled the trigger a little too early on it. But I just had this feeling like the developer was just one of those guys that published it and was just like, whatever happens, happens. Like, cool, it's $15. I'll put it on sale maybe every now and then. And I guess I respect that. At the same time, I didn't really want to pay full price for it. And it doesn't seem like a $15 game to me. It seems more like a $5 to $8 game to me. But I picked it up for $11. And I have played it for like 12 minutes at this point. I do want to play it more. It's Steam Deck verified. So, once that gets kind of pulled out and charged again, this is probably one of the first games that I would install on my Steam Deck when I pull it back out.
Good. Yes, when. Well, that's cool. Yeah, I haven't bought anything on the Steam winter sale either, but I did, like I mentioned, buy the Myst complete pack on the Thanksgiving or the autumn sale. Well, actually, so now that I'm thinking about it, I guess, and we will talk about this next week, I did buy the one Battle Pass bundle for Dota that was technically during the time of the winter sale, I think. But it wasn't because of the winter sale. Like, it wasn't on sale during the winter sale. So there was that.
Good call out. We are talking about all of this as kind of a lead up to our big annual. We can say that now.
Yes.
Say that now.
Our second annual.
Our annual set. No, it'll be our third annual.
Third annual. Oh, yeah. Third annual. Ooh, our third annual.
It'll be the third time that we are talking about all of the purchases that we made in the video game world for the year of 2022. We have done it 2 years now. This is the third year in a row that we will be adding up all of those expenses and talking about kind of where we put our money this year, what we were excited about, what panned out and what didn't, because I'm looking at some of the things in my Steam purchase history right now that I'm super not happy about. And we will talk about all of that. We'll put it all together. Neither of us. Oh, no, that's not true. I can't say that. I was going to say neither of us bought a console this year, but I'm pretty sure both of us bought a Steam Deck this year.
Yes, both of us did buy a Steam Deck this year. So depending on where that falls, yeah, hardware is still a thing that we have to talk about.
So if you're interested in that, that will be our next episode after Chris gets home. We will add it all up. We'll do another. That'll be our next episode. Will be our annual. We still don't have a good name for it, but annual video game spending recap.
Yes, so be sure to tune in to Pride and Accomplishment next time.
If you have any questions about that episode, or if you want to talk to us about World of Warcraft or other stuff, hit us up before we record that episode, and you can get to us. You can send us a message. You can talk with other people in the community by joining our Discord, which you can get to at discord.pnapodcast.com.
If you want to find any of our older episodes or read our show notes, you can visit our website at pnapodcast.com. That's P, the letter N, the letter A, podcast.com.
If you're enjoying the show, we would just ask if you could share it with some others that may enjoy it as well. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll talk to you next time. My Steam replay this year was like really weird, and I don't think it's very representative of my play, because I didn't play a whole lot on Steam.
There hasn't been a Steam replay until now, right? Like, has there ever been a Steam replay?
No, this is the first year that I've seen this, and I like this trend taking off. But this is the first year that I think they've published like an actual thing where you can go review all your stats for the year. But I guess I just want to say, the Steam replay is supposed to be like, here's your year in video gaming, right? Like, and it's just not representative of mine. It's because I didn't play much on Steam during certain parts of the year.
Sure, and that's a limitation of the platform, but you can't blame Steam for not knowing about games that you didn't play on Steam.
No, I totally get that. That's totally fair. But let's just real quick here, right? This is just how limited Steam's view of my world is, right? Steam thinks my most played game of the year is Lost Ark.
Wow.
Right? It's an incredibly skewed view of my world.
Okay, yeah. Wow. This is Jason, the Lost Ark fan. Forget that World of Warcraft stuff. We're playing Lost Ark now.
Yeah, and it's God, I wish I could see real fast. I've got to scroll through here. Yeah, I mean, some good information about Lost Ark, right? I played 11 days in a row. Okay, that's a cool stat. That's a cool stat. But like, doesn't show me how many hours I played. Just shows me percentages. That's not what I want. I think it's going to say like, oh, it's your most played game of the year with like 100 hours or whatever. And I was like, that's clearly, I've played more than 100 hours of World of Warcraft in the last, 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So it's just not. I wish there was, and I started this at the beginning of the year, and I actually I've had a program running on my computer all year that tracks every application I've used and how much time I've spent on it. I'd have to pay for it to get the data out, and I'm thinking about it, but I wish there was something that gave me a more full picture of my actual year in review for gaming. And it's just a limitation of all of the different launchers and platforms and all of that there are.
That seems like an opportunity. I feel like a lot of these things have APIs. Like there are a lot of individual APIs that can go into the different platforms. So maybe somebody can put something together to do that.
Other than that, some of the things that I worth pointing out. There's a breakdown of how much time you spent playing with a controller versus mouse and keyboard.
Yeah.
Mine was like 9% with controller, and Rocket League was essentially the entire Rocket League and Played Up actually. Were the two big ones that I played with controller.
Mine was 23% with a controller, but it counts all the time on the Steam Deck as controller.
Right. And then I think the only other interesting thing to point out is I played basically no Destiny this year.
So for me, on the top of my like Steam replay, it tells me that my like highlights are Dota 2, Rocket League, and Destiny 2. Like those are the things that it's decided to call out, which is interesting to me because Dota 2 is 25%, Rocket League 14%, Destiny 10% of playtime.
Yeah, Destiny's 13 for me. How many different games did you play?
43, it says.
41. Okay, we're pretty similar there. All right.
Yeah.
And how many of them were new games?
22.
22 as well. Wow, we should compare those when we're not on stream.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's I find it interesting that so it says I played 41 games this year. Steam averages 5.
Wow. Yeah, I see that too. Yeah. My achievement number is absolutely skewed because I bought Sea of Thieves so I could play it on the Steam Deck. And it took all the Xbox achievements that I've ever earned in Sea of Thieves and turned them into Steam achievements. So I have 426 achievements unlocked on Steam.
Oh my gosh.
Which is, not representative of the time that I spent playing those games this year. But I guess more achievements for me. The Steam average is 21.
Yeah, other than that, I wish it was a more full picture. I don't think Steam, I mean, certain years Steam is absolutely my main platform. It's where I would play all my games, but like this year 2022, like I appreciate Steam and all that, but I don't think it was where I spent most of this. Was a really big MMO year for me. A lot of Guild Wars 2, World of Warcraft, Lost Ark, a lot of MMOs for me this year. And it just didn't happen to be on Steam.
One funny stat for me is I have a Rocket League graph, and it shows you your percentage time each month, like the breakdown. And for me, it has a little bar in every single month except for October, November, and December, because that's when I've been away and it's been difficult for me to play Rocket League.
That's interesting. My Rocket League graph is just 2 giant spikes in the 2 months that I decided to play Rocket League.
Oh, okay.
1 giant one in January and 1 giant one in, I guess, three spikes. 2 giant ones in June and July.
Nice.
That's it. Literally every other month is just 0.
Aw. Well, Destiny is a sad little thing in April, May, June, and then a tiny little thing in July.
Yeah, the new Destiny expansion looks really cool. Based on this graph, and I don't know. I
don't think I want to go in the Destiny direction. We'll talk about it another time, but that new expansion's coming out in February, and it's going to take a lot to get me over the hill on that one.
I think so too. In any case, go check out your Steam Replay 2022. Share what you have, in our Discord, or hit us up and just let us know. I'm interested in some of the stats from some of my other friends that play a lot of Rocket League, just like what theirs looks like, and what else is on there. But if you play a lot of Steam stuff, this replay could be really cool, and go check it out.